Thank you for joining us here at Shepherd Community, and for me to take this time tonight to just update you on what's happening in our neighborhood, what's the response that we and many of you are joining with us are doing to meet that need, and then we'll be able to take questions. And so we encourage you to go to Facebook Messenger if you have questions, and we'll be addressing as many as we can tonight. Charles Dickens wrote that famous book, The Tale of Two Cities. And it has a phrase, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. And I think that's very apropos to where we are today. And so let me just tell you some of the best things that are happening. I'm amazed to see our neighbors helping neighbors showing up here to help take food and other resources to their neighbors. That encourages me as I see neighbors helping neighbors, and that's some of the best things. Many of you and so many others have donated food and diapers and masks that we are making and giving out to our neighbors. We had a business this week that donated a bunch of more hand sanitizer, and we're getting that out. And many have donated money that's critical for us during this very difficult time. I think one of the best things is we have great leadership in our city and in our state, and how directly they're impacting our neighborhood. And we're thankful for the mayor and his staff and the governor and his team and all of those who are impacting. We're thankful for those frontline workers. We're blessed to have great healthcare systems here in Indianapolis, and we're appreciative of the great job they're doing. And I am thankful to be in a town that's served by some of the best first responders. The worst of times. Jane and I, we have lived here now almost 25 years and been able to serve in the Near East Side of Indianapolis. And this epidemic of loneliness, made only worse by the social isolation, is some of the worst I've seen. I fear for many of our neighbors. For Jane and I, Easter was awkward. It was uncomfortable because we couldn't be with our kids and our grandkids, and as desperately as we love them and want to be with them, we couldn't. But we had a Zoom dinner, Easter dinner together, all three of our kids and their spouses and our grandkids. It's a new way, but at least we have the privilege through technology to see them and talk to them. But it's different, and for many of our neighbors, they don't have that privilege. I think the uncertainty of loss of education and for the e-learning while we're doing, and our team and many folks here in the community are doing a great job trying to learn how to teach online, and there's going to be a learning loss. And that's really unfortunate for our kids who did nothing, but they're being impacted by this horrible virus. For Jane and I, in this time here, I've never seen such pain and such hurt and such need. I would have said before this virus hit that really the poverty in Indianapolis was the lack of access, not the lack of resource, but it truly is today the lack of resource. We've never had to work harder to get food to our families. And I think part of the worst of it is those who've lost loved ones and friends. Yesterday I lost a friend, a great hero who served for many years in IMPD, and that's hard. Today I had a phone call and prayed with a friend who probably is facing very grave situation, and he's hospitalized with COVID-19, and I could hear the fear in his voice, and as I prayed with him, my heart was broken for a friend. And there's a lot of family members and friends whose hearts are broken, and I think that is some of the worst of what we have to deal with. But part of the best is this. Mario Marino, in the book Leap of Reason, says the great organizations are those that tackle issues bigger than themselves and partner with others to accomplish it. this is much bigger than Shepherd, but we are faithful to the task to do everything we can. But I'm thankful to tell you there's a lot of great organizations out there that we're working with. Other great organizations that are helping our neighborhood, the Bonner Center, Inglewood. We're thankful to be partnering with Second Helpings and Gleaners and Midwest Food and Safeway stores and Elanco to make sure food is going home to our kids. Lots of churches are collecting items and businesses are donating items. Individuals doing the same. And so here's what I know is that we're not in this alone. And I'm thankful for great partners. Some of the biggest issues, as I've already said, has been food. Food is very difficult to come by, and we are doing much more, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but that's one of our greatest needs. So much of the solutions to help folks through this is based on connectivity, and that's challenged. Not all of our neighbors have access to the internet. And I'm thankful to say our team worked hard, and now we've made our parking lot a hotspot so that our neighbors can come. I saw someone pull up today already. If you're going to have to sign up for unemployment, how do you do it if you don't have connectivity? I'm thankful for the folks who made it possible for us to have computers and tablets and get them into the homes, and we're still getting them into the homes, and we're getting some more things that we can actually put in seniors' home here in our neighborhood so that they can connect by telemedicine. Telemedicine only works when you have connection, right? I think there are a lot of medical needs that aren't COVID-19 related, and we're trying to respond to that. And I've already talked about the student learning and the loneliness. These are issues that 4 weeks ago, how many of us even knew what Zoom was? Jane and I were talking, how would I have ever expected that my bride and I would be connecting to our kids on Easter on some app called Zoom? But in 4 weeks, life has turned. And I want to tell you, the great staff of Shepherd Community and our volunteers, our board and the leadership there pivoted quickly to make sure we were meeting the needs of our neighbors. And we so appreciate many of you who've responded to that. I want to just go through food. Each day we're providing sack breakfast and sack lunch for students to come by, and we have every day dozens and dozens of families coming through to make sure their kids are eating. In the afternoon, we are providing meals to our families and now working with other groups, including an apartment complex by us, to make sure that the 50 folks who live there are getting the 63 units of the senior housing where we're taking food every day to make sure that they're eating, and many that we're delivering to homes. More and more, we're identifying folks who have needs. Every other Tuesday, we've been passing out 500 boxes of food. It goes very fast. On Fridays, thankful to the leadership of Elanco and an organization named Hatch, who's been a great partner with us to make sure that our families have eggs and lots of them, and being able to get those out into the neighborhood with other partners. But on Fridays, we're providing all from Indiana producers. We're giving milk, eggs, bread, and pork. And some of our team are putting together video recipes, and they are able to send them out to our families and help them know creative ways. But we started with 250 families. This Friday, we'll pass out 400. We're thankful for those folks who are making it possible, and the producers, Indiana producers producing for Indiana families. We are so thankful for that. We are thankful for, on Saturdays, we're still pushing food out through our food pantry, and so 6 days a week we're distributing food. Food is a huge need, and it will continue to be, and we believe it will grow. And I'm thankful for the partners that I've already mentioned. We can't do this alone. We can do this only if we all work together. Medical, we've repositioned our paramedic who's out calling on homes. He's taking medical devices in so that they can weigh themselves, they can check their oxygen level, their blood pressure automatically. And the idea behind that is if they have other chronic health issues, we want to intervene quickly so they're monitoring themselves and can call us, and our paramedic can go back. We're working with the city and our paramedics, actually helping some of the homeless areas to make sure that they're getting medical care. We are taking and pushing these devices out. We're going to get prescriptions for folks. Many of our folks who would be compromised should not be going out, and we're helping them get signed up so their prescriptions can be sent to them directly, or we're going to get them for them. Medically, we want to make sure we keep folks out of the hospital that aren't COVID-19 so that they don't get exposed. And so we're trying to bridge all of those together, and we're thankful to be able to work with our great health partners, Oak Street Community, Eskenazi, and IU Methodist. We're thankful and blessed to have them in our city and in our community. We've talked about social isolation, and we're wanting to connect, and so we're trying to build connections. Staff are calling our families and checking in on them. I talked to the boy that my wife and I, Jane and I, mentor. I called him today and asked him how he was doing on his schoolwork. He was in the middle of a video game. I said, "How are you doing? I don't think that's what you need to be doing." But we want to make sure he knows, and there's so many others know, that there's people who care for him. And volunteers are helping us make phone calls and check in on our neighbors. It's one of the reasons why we're pushing videos out. We want to stream information to our families. Our counselor is providing mental health suggestions to our families, both in English and Spanish. And we have partnerships that are giving us information. Citizens Gas sent us information, helping our families know how to navigate and to who to call for this and that. And we're thankful for those partnerships, but we want to keep connected to our families and stay close to them. Our family support. We appreciate our team here that's connecting with these folks, and we really appreciate the CSURF fund that is being administered by the United Way, and many funders have put money into that, and we were blessed to receive some of that, and we're helping pay bills. But we're also doing more than that. I've already talked to you about, we're trying to create more connectivity, and so we've been helping families and had a conversation today with some executives at a phone company where we can create hotspots to make sure our families can have access to the things they need, but ways for us to continue to support them and maybe help pay for that while they're trying to get established. Many of our families have already lost their work. It happened quickly, and without a savings, they quickly ran into some challenges. And so we're trying to help bridge the gap until more of the stimulus and unemployment can start. Like I've said, though, we've got to help them sign up for unemployment, and we're doing that, and our team's doing a great job. But there's many ways for us to support families, more than just paying bills, but it's helping them have access and making sure they know that someone cares. I appreciate the governor's order and the mayor's decision to try and help support to make sure that our families are not evicted during this time. Unfortunately and tragically, there are some bad actors out there who are preying on families during this time. And we're going to continue to work with the authorities to make sure they are found out, because the governor has ordered it and it can't happen. You can't be evicted. But tragically, there are bad actors, and you know who you are. And I appreciate that our city and our state's not going to put up with that. That's not fair. This is not their making. And we're trying to support our families. We're helping a family move even yet this week. And so we want to help do that and make sure that they are in with good landlords who understand the law and who care for them as well. And our teaching staff has pivoted from teaching in a classroom to online teaching, and I'm thankful for the work that's happening. We're continuing to work with kids who have challenges, and our staff is working one-on-one with them. And so we've embraced technology. We were able to secure enough devices, and we've got even more devices that we're getting out to other older students. And we're thankful that e-learning, our desire is to be the best at e-learning. It's different. It's difficult. There's lots of questions to be learned or to be asked by this, but we're committed to making sure it happens. Well, I'm going to stop there, and we're going to take some of the questions, and we want this to be informative. We are thankful for the partnerships we have with so many, and including you. We appreciate the interest, and I appreciate our team here, John and Tom, who are helping make this possible, so that I can actually know what I'm doing. So the first question, how can I help? I don't have a car, but how can I help from home? Well, I think one of the things you could do is you can contact our volunteer department, Phil, who provides great leadership, and Donna, and say, I want to volunteer, I want to help. And there's different ways. We've had folks, lots of folks who've been sewing the mask, and I think this week we're going to distribute 600 masks to the neighborhood. Our goal is to distribute 2,500. We got a long way to go, so maybe you can sew, and that's a way you can help. Maybe you want to call some of our neighbors and check on them, and some of them have said they would love phone calls, just twice a week, talking to them. We think that's a great way. You can order things online and have them shipped to us. And there's information on our website, the different items. Personal care items really are coming to the surface of need for many of our neighbors because they've ran out of the money, and those items tend to be very expensive. If they do have food stamps, SNAP, they can't use that for personal care items. So those are precious commodities. So maybe you want to donate those. Maybe you want to donate money. All of those things are things that we can use and will use in our response to our families for COVID-19. So what do Shepherd programs look like in the fall? My son is enrolled to start school in August. Do you think that will be canceled as well? Is school canceled for the rest of the year? We are e-learning for the rest of this school year, and we are planning for a different summer. We're not sure what it looks like totally yet. We don't believe that we'll be able to have our traditional programs like we have. The experts are giving us insights, and we don't know about the fall. We're planning, and we'll be having school of some type, whether it's here or e-learning, and we're committed to giving the best education to our students. So as we know more, we'll let you know, but it's like every day is a little different for us. We don't know what's the next holds, but I am thankful that we're able to be here and help. What is Shepherd doing to make sure both staff and neighbors are safe while meeting the needs in the community? I appreciate this question. I appreciate the person asking it in behalf. We want to be careful both ways. We want to be careful for our neighbors as well as to the staff. And so if the staff is engaged, we have shut our building down, and all of our services take place outside. So when food comes, it's drive-through. We are all wearing masks. We all wear gloves. We're taking every staff member's temperature when they come in the morning to make sure that they don't have a fever. We've informed, most of our staff are actually working from home, and we just have a small staff each day, except on the big food production days when we're handing out a lot of food out. And so we are asking if someone doesn't feel good to not come in. And then for our neighbors, even when we go to deliver food, we're being very specific. We have medical advisors who are giving us the best way to do that. And so we're going to have a mask on and gloves. We're not going into anyone's home. We're setting it on the porch, letting them come out to get it after we've left. And then using lots of hand sanitizer. And we are going to do everything we can to make sure everyone, both our staff and our neighbors, are safe, and will not do anything that would jeopardize that. We're working in conjunction with our first responders, and I'm excited to say a week from tomorrow we'll have our first Thank You Thursday, where we're providing lunches starting on the 23rd to first responders, both police, fire, and EMS, and allow them to come through for a lunch, as we want to thank them but want them to know that we're in this together. And in many cases, we're referring situations to them as they are then calling us back. Just a few weeks ago, we got a call from an ambulance crew, and we were able to follow up on someone who had ran out of food, and because of some conditions he had, he wasn't able to go get food, didn't know what he was going to do for food, and now each week we're taking food to him. And so that's the great relationship we have with those heroes. I have to say in a moment that I am thankful for those who serve as first responders. Tomorrow we mourn the loss of one of our IMPD officers, Officer Leth, and thankful for her service to our community. And we mourn every time we lose one. And so we want to be in prayer for that family and to the IMPD family. The question is, do you have a partnership for providing medical supplies at wholesale pricing? Well, we struggle to find a little bit of everything these days. And so finding masks, finding hand sanitizer are all things that are a challenge for us. When we've purchased those automatic blood pressure cuffs, we've just bought them as we can. The things you put on your finger, I don't know what they're called, to take your oxygen. And then the scales, we've just bought some as we can get them, but we've not found anything in wholesale. Feel free to contact us if you'd like, and we can talk to you more about our medical needs. We are, some of the other questions that we've gotten, how are we doing financially? And I want you to know we're very blessed. Folks are responding. But at the same time, we're spending more money than we've ever spent. We're spending about $25,000 a week supporting our families. Every time we do a food giveaway, we're spending about $5,000. We're thankful for the partnership with Hatch and Elanco that on Fridays, all of that food we don't have to pay for. They have worked through and got some great donations from the Indiana producers, and we want to support that. We know that many folks are struggling and businesses are struggling, and we've tried to be supportive of our own area businesses and wanting to try and give them business as we can. We've had some folks who buy lunch for the staff, and we're able to take those to area businesses and buy them. We appreciate all of you who've joined tonight. We have had weekly videos, and those are going to continue. This week we wanted to try this. We thank you for you taking time and investing in the life of the ministry of Shepherd Community. We want you to know that we are encouraged. At the beginning of this year, I gave each of our staff a wooden keychain that had engraved in it Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous. We had no idea what that meant at the time, and some days I wish we'd have picked a little nicer, easier verse maybe. But we are strong and courageous because what God is doing through so many, and we're thankful to be His hands extended to a neighborhood that's hurting, to a city that's hurting, and to many of you who are hurting. As we close tonight, I just want to let you know this is from Jane and I, and from my colleagues and our colleagues here at Shepherd Community, and the many folks who are making it possible for us to be here and to serve our neighborhoods. Thank you. God be with you. God bless you. And from my families to yours, may God bless you tonight. Keep you safe. shepherdcommunity.org/COVID. You can find out how you can be involved, and we'll continue to give you updates. Thank you so much. May God bless you.